Hi, good evening. Queso here. I'll be playing another game of Solo Conquest Mage Knight. I have the regular version of Mage Knight alongside with the Lost Legions expansion, so I do have his specialized cards. This is the character you want to play that gives you the mana and crystals you need to cast spells. Goldyx is pretty safe in my opinion. I mean, he's not sexy. He doesn't have like attacks as his skills. His specialized cards don't give you additional attacks or doesn't give you block. Regardless, I think he's a pretty strong character, and one of the easy recommendations for people that are new to the game. Like I said, he's pretty relaxing, and let's get into this game. So I'm starting day one playing Goldyx with Wolfhawk being the dummy player. My starting tiles are actually pretty thick with forests, but they're still pretty good. I see some pretty good draws. Let's go towards the Mage Tower if there's some good spells. Let's take a look at the spell offer. So of the 3 spells that are in the offer, I'm eyeballing the Wings of Wind. Lets me move really fast around the map at a pretty low cost. So I'm gonna shoot for that at this point. And from what I saw on the map, the only 2 I would likely get on turn or day 1 would be either the Scouts or the Magic Familiars. It's just that if I want to get the Magic Familiars, then I'm going to need some more mana and crystals. So for that, I'm gonna have to wait a couple turns to get what I need from that. Of the 6 daytime tactics, the only other one I could actually might use is Mana Steal, but honestly I don't really need another white or a red. So I'm just gonna take Early Bird and go first. Great start. That hurts a little bit, but that's fine. So I'm using the more powerful version of Improvisation, and we're gonna dump Tranquility. Let's see what's behind the Mage Tower. Magic Familiars, okay. 2 brutal, 3 attacks. That's actually a pretty nasty start. I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with it. I can either grab a green or blue, and green is the safe choice starting off early because you want that concentrate. That's a really unfortunate turn 2 for day 1. I can't block and kill these magical familiars right now, so I'm gonna have to make a change of plans. So I'm going to take another route. I'm going to turn the black mana from the source into 2 blue mana tokens and just book it straight to that monastery right there. So I have 8 movement, 6, 7, 8, and next turn I'll be able to take care of these orcs. So let's do that. Dummy player will only draw 5 cards in total. Pretty good. Swiftness, 2 Rages, 1 Promise, and Crystal Joy. I'm not going to be able to kill him in range combat, so I'm going to get 3 block here in melee combat, and I've got a total of 3 plus 2 attack, so the orcs are dead. At 3 fame, that's perfect. That's the perfect amount to level up, so let's take care of that. So that's 1 reputation, and I'm at level 2. Oh, okay. I think this is an easy choice for me. There's so many of these skills in his deck for mana generation, but Flight is crazy good. That means less worrying about movement later in the game, so I will take Flight. And as for the action, Shield Bash, Maximal Effect, or Training. And having Training on day 1, crazy good actually, so I might just take this. I'm gonna have to... I actually never really get this card this early in the game. And I'm revealing Intimidate, so that's pretty good too. I'm hoping to grab that later. I'm revealing Wolfhawk's taunt skill. I'm hoping I will draw... I don't need it, it would be nice though, but I want the Threaten? Hey, there we go, there's Threaten. Okay. I have Promise, Threaten, Swiftness, Training, and Determination. So pretty good turn for me since I'm already standing on a monastery. I'm probably gonna I gotta buy something while I'm here. This is actually great. So I'm gonna use Training, and what I'm gonna throw away to take, I'm gonna throw away Threaten. and I'm gonna replace it with, oh, Threaten, there you go. And I always liked that they were a little lazy with the art, and they basically flipped the image and zoomed it in a little bit. But whatever, it's basically the same card, just more powerful. So I'm losing Threaten, but gaining Intimidate, which is a great trade in my book. For the rest of my cards, I'm actually going to use Promise on the strong side, plus 2 sideways. So I'm choosing between Magic Familiars or Scouts, but the problem with Magic Familiars is I don't have a second crystal in my backpack. When it becomes Night 1, I need a second crystal in my backpack in order to continue to have them in my deck. So I think the safe choice actually would be to do Scouts for only 4 influence. I do want to make use of Magic Familiars, but I don't have a guaranteed way to get another set of crystals. Well, I do, but that means I have to backtrack, and I really want to avoid backtracking when I can. So what I'm going to do is just use Promise on the strong side, get those Scouts, and that will be it for this turn. So I'm on my second to last turn at this point. But the good news is I'm through my deck. You know, the smarter audience members will notice that I actually didn't account for Will Focus in my deck. So having Will Focus actually guarantees that I would have had the green crystal in my backpack. So I could have taken those Magic Familiars, but you know what? I'm not going to take back my turn. I'll deal with it. Scouts are not too bad. I actually might use them right now to take a look at this tile right here. So let's see what we have. That's pretty good. I revealed a dungeon and another monastery, which gave me a mountain lore in the units offer. I think what I'm going to do is go through the forest and plan to hit these ugly orcs. Yeah, let's do this. That's 5 movement to get here. And the reason I did that is because I need a crystal to power Will Focus in order to kill this in combat, in range combat. So I'll get the gold token for next turn. Wolfhawk announces end of round, so this is my last turn. And also my discard pile does not have any wounds to get rid of, so I can't do that. But as my last turn, Will Focus on Swiftness, that's 6 range attack, and this guy is only 5. I can kill it in range combat, I don't have to block. Let's do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't level me up, but before I do that, I'm actually going to use my flight to move 1 space towards the swamp. That way I can get some more options on night 1. So let's take care of that. And that's actually the end of day 1. Day 1 is always faster than I feel it should be, but you know, since you only have 16 cards in your deck, it goes by pretty fast. So, beginning of night 1, I revealed Ritual Attack, which is actually not a bad choice, I think, for Goldyx. He has ways to get mana. I don't have them right now, but it's a pretty good bet that I will get some later. Steady Tempo is actually pretty tempting too, if I need movement later, but we'll see how my draw goes. Especially with training, I have a lot more incentive to get this side of the advanced actions moving through, so I can get what I want. I also revealed space bending. You know what? I never really use space bending, but it seems really powerful if you can get the right situation for it. I've got Foresters, Herbalists, and Thugs on the unit offer, as well as Ice Bolt and Spell Force. Pretty strong cards, so I'm glad I stuck next to the Monastery. That way I have a choice of buying one of these two, which are pretty strong cards. My first hand is in night 1 will be Stamina, Mana Draws, Training, Determination, and Swiftness. That's actually really good for what I have intended to do. So I'm gonna actually take Long Night. I have a feeling I might go pretty fast this round, so let's keep that. And hopefully the dummy player will not take 5 or 6. And of course, first thing he takes is Sparing Power. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I don't need Sparing Power. You know, it's a fun card, but whatever. You know, I'm not bitter. I was tempted to take Mana Search, but since I have Mana Draw as my first hand, I'm going to take advantage of that. So Mana Draw to turn the gold source into green, and in this way, I can actually make use of training and get a straight upgrade. So what I'm gonna do, play the more powerful version of training. I'm gonna throw away stamina, and I'm going to get steady tempo. That way I can just go move straight onto the monastery. And now hopefully I can prepare for the next round. And I'm actually going to put steady tempo on the bottom of my D deck. So let's do that. I drew Will Focus. That's fantastic actually. Will Focus, Intimidate, March, and I also have Determination and Swiftness. So that sets me up perfectly for what I have in mind. The dummy player drew 4 cards, so she's not going too fast, so I'm not too worried still. Okay, I'm gonna take the chance, and I have two options. I could kill the orcs, and that's the safe choice. But what I'm gonna do is actually just burn the monastery right now, because I have 6 ranged combat. That is enough to kill most anything in the purple deck. So let's do this. I'm gonna lose 3 reputation off screen. And here's hoping. Oh no! Ah, my god. I'm 1 point away from killing him in ranged combat. One point. So that bums me out pretty greatly, but that's okay. I can get through this. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta skip ranged combat. I don't have enough to kill him in ranged combat. So I'm gonna block one instance of attack. That means I have to eat the other instance. So brutal 3, which means I have to take three wounds in my hand. So let's do that. Now I have to play Will Focus. Gives me 6 attack, and unfortunately Intimidate. Yeah, I don't think I have a choice, unfortunately. I wanted to hold on to Intimidate to get some influence next turn, but I don't see a better option. So there's my 7 attack. And these magic familiars are dead. At what cost? 3 wounds, and you know, that's fine. That's actually not terrible. It could have gone a lot better. I was really hoping for an unfortified purple unit, but yeah, that's how it goes. So I've already lost the 3 reputation from doing the attack, and this is 5 fame, so I'm from 6 to 11. Fortunately, I level up, I can get another unit, and I have 3 armor now, so things are looking up. And technically I should have gotten the artifact first, so let's just do that right now. Of these 2, oh man, you know, I'm never really excited to get banners, but Banner of Command is one of the banners I would willingly take over other banners. So I feel easy choice here. Banner of Command is it. It gives me another, basically lets me recruit a unit for free later in the game, or whenever I want, but honestly, pretty damn good. So I'm gonna keep that. So the dummy player is gonna draw 1, 2, 3, just 3 cards. Not too bad. I think I hate doing this. I think most players would agree. I am playing my artifacts sideways just to get the 2 movement so that now I can use flight and move on to the magical glade. That gives me some healing, well, passive healing if I stay here for a bit. So that's my plan for now. End of my turn, I get rid of 1 wound. I get a black mana in between turns, and the dummy player will draw 4 cards this round. Sorry, this turn. 1, 2, 3. I drew Rage, Improvisation, and Promise. I was actually hoping for a movement card. Okay. I'm going to use Improvisation on the weak side, or the normal side, and get the 3 movement. And let's explore some more. It's pretty interesting. So I have the... I forgot what it was called, a recruitment camp, a maze, and another monastery. That's actually 3 monasteries for this game. I'm revealing Song of Wind into the units offer. And I'm actually going to stick to this spot for this turn. So keep Rage in my hand, end of my turn. I heal a wound and draw up to my hand limit. Got Tranquility, Swiftness, and March. The dummy player will take her turn, and she has 1 card left in her deck. So this is my 3rd to last turn. Right. They're actually called a refugee camp, but that's fine. I'm actually not planning to go towards that direction. Also, I forgot to refresh my scouts, so let's do that. And I'm gonna actually backtrack 1 space towards the dungeon. Yeah, I want that potential artifact spell, so let's do it. Gonna use March to walk backwards 1 space. Tranquility to heal the last card in my hand. And in this way, I can hopefully get the next round ready for combat. I forgot it was steady tempo, Shay. But that's okay. I have Long Night, so if I need to take 1 more turn, I'll take it. Dummy player's out of cards in her deck, so let's see if we can get this dungeon taken care of, right? Let's just jump right in. I don't... No regrets, right? Yeah. That... physical resistance might be a problem. Let me do some math. It goes without saying, but I'm not blocking his damage, so I'm going to have 2 wounds in my hand. I will need to play Crystal Joy to get a red mana crystal and spend it on Rage. Then that's 4 attack, 5, 6, 7, and finally with the scouts, 8 damage physical, which I need because he's physically resistant. So with that, I do level up. I do get rewards from that. So let's see what I get. It's blue. That means I will get an artifact. So let's go into that, huh? Of the 2, like Bostarsdawn. I've never said that out loud. Or the Banner of Fear. Easy choice, Banner of Fear. Unless I had a really heavy deck with range attack. I feel like this is a card meant for Volkaire's campaigns, because for cities you can't really use ranged combat. I mean, you can turn it into siege, but still, no, I don't think it's a choice at all. I think Banner of Fear is the choice I'm making. So let's do that. Before I forget, I'm going to discard a wound from my hand using Crystal Joy. And that means I can take Crystal Joy back into my hand. But other than that, let's clean up for this round, huh? So I'm from 11 fame to 15 fame, the perfect amount to level up. My new choices for Goldyx are Freezing Power up here, or I could use Universal Power on the bottom here. So I'm not going to take the siege damage one. I think it's too niche. I need to have a plan for more siege damage if I were to take that. Now, Universal Power seems really good, but you really need the mana every turn to be able to use it. So I'm going to bypass that as well and take Taunt, which I could use every single turn in any combat, and it always lowers the attack power. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to take that. Which means, unfortunately, well, and fortunately, I'm going to take Maximal Effect because it's at the bottom of the deck, at the bottom of the Advanced Action offer. So that's not too bad, honestly. So the new card in the Advanced Actions offer will be Temporal Portal. Okay, with that, I'm going to draw up to my hand limit, and look at that, I have Long Night, so I actually am able to take one more turn, because right now Wolf Hawk is going to declare end of round now, so let's use Long Night. Okay, and I draw up to my card limit, which is, oh, okay. Okay, what can I do with this? Okay, quick turn. I'm going to play these two cards sideways to move into the monastery, which I have not burned down yet for once. And play Banner of Command, which gives me 4 influence. And with the 4 influence, I'm just going to grab Herbalisk, because it's the only ones I can afford this turn. Last thing I do, Crystal Joy, and I get a green mana. And with that, that actually ends night 1. So let's keep going and see what day 2 brings us. So to start with day 2, I've revealed Chivalry. I still have Temporal Portal up, Blood of Ancients up. Units offer, I have Peasants, Red Cape Monks, and Udum Crossbowmen, and I've revealed Fireball as a new spell. In the Monastery units offer, I got Mana Storm and Pure Magic. So my hand starts with Training again, which is great. Mana Draw, Tranquility, Promise, and Intimidate. So it seems like the game wants me to do some influence and get some training cards. But really my next goal is really to get a core tile revealed. I have 3 more country tiles to go through, and I want to get some elite units available, so that's I'm gonna try and focus on that. No guarantees though. Of the 4 tactics in day, I actually feel like these are the 2 viable ones, is Mana Steal or Planning, and I feel optimistic that I can get Planning working pretty well, so I'm gonna take Planning and see what the dummy player takes. Mana Steal. Okay, so Wolf Hawk will go first. Okay. I'm going to play the powerful Promise with regular Intimidate. That gives me 8 influence. I'm going to lose the 1 reputation right now off screen. And what I'm taking, I have a choice from Pure Magic and Mana Storm, but I will take Mana Storm. It's the more powerful version of Mana Draw, and I take that because I'm going to use Training to throw away Mana Draw. Normally I think you'd be kind of crazy to give up Mana Draw, but now that I have basically the more powerful version, I'm going to take from the Advanced Actions offer Chivalry, which seems like a really good attack card that's white, so that's kind of a rare thing, at least from what I've seen. It's a pretty rare thing to have, and also gives me options to have more reputation, but that's kind of a side bonus. I just want the attack, to be honest. So I'm just going to stay at this monastery and hope that I get some attack so I can burn it down. My next hand will be, well, let's put Mana Storm on the top. I've got Mana Storm, Tranquility, Swiftness, Maximal Effect, and March. That's not really a really combat heavy hand, but we'll see how that goes in a second. So this turn's gonna make me a little nervous, but I'm planning to burn in the monastery. And at the worst case, I have Maximal Effect, which I'll play on the bottom half to remove Swiftness from my deck to get the 6 range attack. And that will nearly guarantee that I can kill whatever is behind the monastery. I do lose Swiftness, but I think as the game goes on, Swiftness loses its potency just because you're starting to do assaults and everything is fortified, so swiftness becomes less and less relevant. So, okay, I'm gonna lose 3 reputation off screen. I'm actually at -3 at this point. And the monastery will reveal ice mages? Ice mage, ice wizard, ice dude. Okay. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I'm actually not going to lose... I don't want to lose swiftness just yet. I'm going to actually take the 2 wounds in melee combat and just generate the regular physical 6 damage in this way right here. Swiftness, powerful version, 3 cards sideways, and it's dead. And unfortunately, taunt won't help me at all in this case. I still take 2 wounds into my hand, but that's okay. Hopefully it'll pay off later. I think that's kind of the downside to taunt, is that sometimes that -1 won't really benefit you at all. And I've really found a hard way. I find it hard to use the right side of taunt, which gives the enemy +2 attack. But if I get Banner of Fear, actually that might come in handy, because -2 armor is pretty significant. So I burned out in the monastery. Let's see what we get from that, besides minus reputation. My 3rd artifact will be... okay. This is an easy choice as well. I'm running out. I'm going towards a negative, so Bag of Endless Gold might not pay off. Horn of Wrath is the Horn of Wrath. You take Horn of Wrath whenever it comes up. That's really the game plan. There's very little reason to not take Horn of Wrath, and I think you have to be in really dire straits to even consider skipping it. I think I might actually use the Herbalist to get a green mana token and heal these 2 wounds from my hand. So I'm gonna do that. Since I already have green mana, it's hard to see, but I have 2 green crystals in my backpack. So I don't really feel like I need to hold on to Herbalist at this point. Oh, and the wounds actually get out of my hand and out of my deck. I still can't use planning since I used my whole hand, but man, getting Horn of Wrath was worth. Okay, Horn of Wrath, Banner of Fear, Wound, Determination, and March is my next hand. Oh, and let me get that experience. And I'm from 15 to 20 fame. And I've already lost my 3 reputation from just burning the monastery, so woe is me. At this point, she's sitting at 6 cards left in her deck. For me, I've got, what is that, 10 cards? 10 cards in my hand. So, it seems like we're pretty matching pace, basically. I might want to go a little faster. So, in my eyes, I really have one option. Is I can burn another monastery, I can go through the maze and get some goodies. Only downside would be I'd have to go through this orc here, which is kind of a nuisance because I can't go through these mountains, and I have to go and explore in this direction. I can't explore down here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna march down onto the maze spot, and actually, this is sad. I'm going to use Horn of Wrath on these lowly orcs, but you know, that's 5 siege attack. I need 1 more siege attack, and I'm getting that from the scouts. I feel like well, not never, but scouts is actually siege attack 1, so that's perfectly 6. The only downside is that I have to potentially get a wound, but let's see. Hey, okay, I come out wound free. So this goes in my discard pile, and I get 1 reputation and 4 fame from that. I also could choose to discard something in my hand to prepare myself for the combat, and in this case I'm going to discard Banner of Fear because I can't use it on a unit this turn, and I'm hoping to get something better in my hand. So let's take care of my experience first. So I'm from -3 to -2, whoopee. And I get 4 experience, so I'm at 24. And you know what? I didn't even plan to level up. It's just kind of a nice bonus. So I'm at hand limit 6, which is actually great for the maze. So with planning, Again, wounds do count towards hand limit for planning's sake. So I have 2 cards in my hand. That means my effective hand limit is actually 7 instead of 6. So what I'm going into the maze with will be Determination, Rage, Crystal Joy, Swiftness, a wound, and one more. Will Focus. Wow, okay. I feel like that might have... That's good, that's great, that's great. 4 cards. It seems like she's got a pretty steady draw rate, just because if you see her amount of crystals, she has 1 of each except for white, which she has 2 of, so pretty steady deck. Pretty steady deck, and I'm okay with that. So I kind of am making a tough decision here, and I'm going to actually skip the maze, because like I said, I really should be focused more on exploring new tiles. I mean, maze, I'm kind of giving up the potential for a spell or an artifact, but realistically I don't have the movement to even get either of those. So what I'm going to do is fly to the monastery, because the walls are kind of annoying to get through. I think that was a good use of flight. And now immediately I'm just going to burn this monastery, because I've already committed. So off screen I'm from -2 reputation down to X, so I can no longer interact at this point. But let's see what I have to face against. Fire mages. 6 attack, 5 armor with fire resistance. I don't think that's too bad. I think I can handle that. So he's doing 6 damage. I have 3 armor, so really that's not too bad. I'm going to take the 2 wounds. I'm just going to play Determination and Rage for 4 attack, plus Will Focus sideways. That will give me the 5 damage I need to take care of the fire mages. So these guys are dead, and I'll get a measly 5 fame. Unfortunately, again, the taunt skill from Wolf Hawk is really not paying off right now. But that's how it goes. Before the end of my turn, I'm going to power Crystal Joy with gold mana, and I can discard a wound and get any color mana I'd like. In this case, I believe I will take blue crystal, and I will take this back into my hand for next turn. And I now have Crystal Joy, Stamina, Rage, and Improvisation to work with. Wolf Hawk will draw her last cards from her deed deck, and I'm left with 3 wounds and there's these 4 cards to play with. So what can we do? I'm going to get 3 movement using Improvisation and discarding Rage. And from there I'll see where I'm going to move or whatnot. I have 1 movement point left. Strong version of Stamina will get me a total of 5 movement points. So I will stand right there. And lastly, I actually don't think it's a net positive at all, but if I were playing with more of a deck, then I would be able to basically just cycle through wounds in my hand. And I'm gonna choose to get a blue crystal back in my hand. So basically all I did was put a wound card from my hand back into my discard pile. And I keep Crystal Joy in my hand for next turn. I think that's why I did that, but whatever. Banner of Command and Steady Tempo is what I have to work with for my last turn, as Wolf Hawk declares end of round. So day 2 will end after this. So since I'm standing on the Magical Glaive, I did forget to get those, so there's my wound die heal off screen, and the gold token I can use for whatever I want. Well, I kind of knew this was going to happen, but I'm kind of stuck on the Magical Glaive, because if I move, I'm going to go into combat with the orcs, and I can't afford to do that with the hand and units I have right now. So all I'm going to do is Crystal Joy. Let's grab a white. So I have 2 green, 1 blue, and 1 white crystal in my backpack. Technically the wound gets put into my discard pile, and this is technically in my hand, these are technically in my hand, but either way, does not matter. Before I forget, Magical Glaive, I can heal a wound from my discard pile, so don't forget that. And I don't get the crystal token until the beginning of the turn, so I'm actually not going to get a green gold crystal, but I will get a black token at the start of day 2. So let's go on. So, starting with night 2, we've got learning. These advanced actions are not, it's not getting me going. I'm not not very excited about them. Unit offers, we have Savage Monks, Shock Troopers, and Peasants. And for the new spell, we have Burning Shield, which is pretty good, and Fireball, still pretty good as well. I'm eyeballing those two. I don't think I need the movement for space bending, but that's still up for grabs if I'd like. For my first turn in Night 2, I've got Mana Storm, Maximal Effect, Banner of Fear, Horn of Wrath, Will Focus, and a wound. For the Night Tactics, it's actually kind of a toss-up for me. I actually like all of these cards. And I'm actually going to take number 1 just because I feel like I don't need Mana Search. And I kind of want to make sure I go first this time around. So I'm willing to just not take an ability for this night and just go first. It might be, I think me personally, picking tactics is probably one of the hardest choices in this game. Yeah, it's one of the harder choices for this game. I still haven't really figured out the best way to play regarding tactics, but I'm kind of bummed that I actually drew Horn of Wrath right now because, again, I'm going to use it to kill the exact same thing I did a couple turns ago. 1 siege attack from Scouts, 5 more from Horn of Wrath. That's enough to kill it in ranged combat, and I don't take a wound, so that's great. I'm actually going to put Banner of Fear onto the Herbalists, hopefully to get some good use out of them. I think I'm actually going to throw Maximal Effect into the discard pile, hoping that I can get some better cards for movement. Last thing I do is heal a wound from my hand. So that's 4 fame from 24 to 28. I get 1 reputation, so I'm at +5, or sorry, -5. My next hand will be Mana Storm, Will Focus, Intimidate, Wound, Crystal Joy, and Swiftness. A total of 6 cards this turn. I can't use Will Focus. I can't use Intimidate in the position I'm at. So I'm going to have to go with some weird moves here. What I'm going to do is Crystal Joy, the red mana. I'm choosing to discard Intimidate so I can get Crystal Joy back into my hand. And lastly, I'm going to play Will Focus just to get the green crystal into my backpack. Because what I'm trying to do is get through my deck and get some more movement. So I'm starting at a Magical Glaive. I get rid of 1 wound. Swiftness, March, Crystal Joy, Mana Storm, Improvisation, and Stamina. That's more like it. That's good. Wolf Hawk will draw a total of 4 cards this turn, so she's slowing down a little bit. I'm going to roll the dice using the more powerful version of Mana Storm. Hopefully I can get some use out of these green and blue movements. Okay, so I got 2 blues to work with. That means I'm going to use Stamina, the powerful version of Stamina, and I'll likely also use the powerful version of March with the green token in my backpack. But let's do this one at a time. Actually, yeah. So I'll have 8 movement. I want to save flight for later, so I want to definitely just move and see what this tile is. So doing that will cost me 7 movement. I have 1 left at this point. And I'm going to explore this direction because I don't think I have plans to go that direction towards the Mage Tower. So let's do Swiftness. I'll have 1 movement once I explore this tile here. So Improvisation, I'm going to burn Crystal Joy for this. That gives me a total of 4 movement. 1, 2. And lastly, I can finally get a core tile revealed. I revealed a green city. I don't think I can even reach it, or consider reaching it at this point. We'll have to go through the keep, or a few rampaging orcs. My next turn will start with March, Swiftness, Determination, Rage, Tranquility, and Banner of Command. 4 cards. Dummy player actually has 5 cards left in her deck, while I'm standing at about 6 cards. So I can play slower if I'd like. So what I just did was reveal 2 tiles. The first one was a countryside tile up here, and the second one was I had to go into the new tile and reveal a core tile. But the problem is, this is actually a coastal line right here. And I don't remember which rule it is, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to correct myself doing this, but I'll keep playing right now. But I'd like someone, if you know the rules pretty well, tell me if this is legal. Like, placing a core tile on the coastline here apparently is not legal, because the reasons being, I think the PvP games, it makes it so it's too unbalanced for people to like control where the cities are, like too far away from another player, like say if they're all the way over here. I actually don't know the reasoning for it, and I'm just going to keep playing for now. But I'd like to know if someone does have the answer, link me where it is in the rules, because I actually can't find it at this point. So let's continue. Right now, the Green City is, all they do is add poison to attacks that are normally physical. So actually that's not too bad, and I feel like I can handle that pretty easily. I do want to take over this keep for the +1 hand bonus, and I don't think it's worth going towards the Mage City. It kind of, it's the opposite direction, so I'm going to try and get into the keep. I have a lot of green, so I'm going to actually use that to just move into the keep. And this is the only way I can see what I'm fighting since it's night. Oh, green heroes. Okay. It's fortified, so I don't have enough siege damage to kill it. So I'm just going to spend blue mana to block 1 attack on the top. For the bottom attack, I will take 1 wound in my hand. And to generate 4 attack, I'm actually going to turn Banner of Command sideways, Swiftness sideways, and play Rage. That's my 4 attack there. I lose 1 reputation for going in the castle, 1 for killing them, but it doesn't matter. I'm at X reputation again right now. But I do get 5 fame, so that's nice. At the end of my turn, I will use Tranquility to heal the 1 wound I took. So my entire hand is gone at this point. I'm at X again, and 5 fame, which is 28 to 33. Okay, so the next thing I kill, I will level up, so that's a nice bonus. So I conquered the keep, which means my hand limit is now effectively 7. So, promise, steady tempo, rage, stamina, training, and chivalry. Unfortunately, I'm out of cards in my deck. 4 cards. So I have 3 more turns, and actually that's not going to happen just because of the number of cards. I'm going to be the one declaring end of round most likely. So I have an interesting choice here, is that either I could go straight for the Green City. I mean, if I stand next to the Magical Glaive with what I have, I'll be more than ready to attack the Green City. But one of the things that bothers me is that I've never used the Banner of Fear this turn, or this round. So I'm hoping that I'm going to spend some movement, reveal this core tile here, and hoping that I stand next to something like a dragon, and that way I can kill it with my hand. Let's give it a shot. And I will reveal this tile here. Okay, unfortunately that didn't work out in my favor this time. I think I will just stand in the glaive, so I'm going to use Flight. So that just lets me move into the space for free. And training, I'm actually going to use training on the top portion and get rid of Promise, because I want to cycle through the advanced action deck and hopefully get some more useful cards. Because right now I'm looking at Learning, Peaceful Moment, and Temporal Portal. None of those are really exceptionally they're not really useful. They're not useful at all to me right now. So I'm gonna get learning. I'm not planning to actually use it for anything great. So here I'm throwing away Promise on the right side here. And I have these three cards left in my hand. I don't expect to use it. Wolfhawk will draw her last card in her deck, so this means this is my second to last turn. It is still nighttime, so I get a black token at the beginning of this turn. And I forgot to reveal the enemies in the green city. So we have sorcerers, the savage monks, and catapult. You know, it doesn't look like I can actually do much with 3 cards in my hand, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk into the space with steady tempo. I don't have any reputation left to lose. Now, I have Banner of Fear on Herbalist. That will negate 1 attack. Now, the attack I'm gonna negate is actually going to be this, I think the sorcerers here. So that means I only have to take damage from these two. That is exactly 5 wounds in my hand, 2 in my discard pile. And in this way, I could kill one of these guys using the 2 cards in my hand. So if I spend the red mana here and Chivalry's top portion, I can get exactly 7 damage and take care of the catapults. So that way I don't have to deal with it later in the next round. That hurt quite a bit, but I'm okay with that because I'm shuffling everything back into my deck next round anyway. So I'm hoping this won't come to bite me too hard later down the line. And I think it's worth it because I do level up at this point. So I will kick myself out of the city again, which means I stand in the glaive, which is nice. And let's get my experience and level up. The catapult was 7 fame, so I'm from 33 to 40. And what I just drew was Source Opening, or I could also take Glittering Fortune. But honestly, these 3 choices aren't even really that great. So that's fine. I'm taking Motivation. That gets me the ability to be a little bit more aggressive later down the line and not suffer for it too much. So let's take that. What I'm revealing now is Refreshing Walk. I'm cleaning up from my last round. Wolfhawk declares end of round. This is my last turn right here. I can't play anything, so I have to discard 1 wound to my discard pile. It's the end of my turn, which means I'm still standing on the glaive, which means I can still heal 1 wound. And now it is the end of night 3. So now I'm gonna clean up and start round 5, day 3. Let's do it. Round 5, day 3. I have Blood Rage. Blood Rage, Blood Rage. I want that. I've taken, I think, 7 or 6 wounds last turn, so I'm eyeballing these too, but realistically, a need's not gonna happen. Refreshing Walk might be good. I mean, it's basically another move card, which, you know, could be good if your deck needs it, but the healing is kind of a bonus in my eyes. In this case, in this game, actually the bonus feels like it might be the reason to do it, or the reason to take it, so there's that. Cure as a spell, and I still have Fireball and Burning Shield up for grabs. More importantly, let's see what's the elite units we have up for grabs. Sorcerers, they can make someone lose Fortification or lose Resistances if you have the right mana. It's also got Fire and Ice resistance, which is, you know, nice. We also have heroes, Cold Fire attack 6 and regular attack 5 block. Banner of Command is going to be the way I get the elite units. At that point, I'll decide which one I want. So as I start, I obviously am going towards the Green City. I revealed the ruins out here. It's 4 crystals. I don't think it's worth going to at this moment, but we'll consider it later. I will take Rethink. Again, I've talked about it before, but the right moment in a solo player game, I still don't see any benefit to taking it. I need someone to tell me, what is the point of taking the right moment in a Solo Conquest game? I'd love to know. But at this point, I don't have reason to take it. I have Rethink, so I'm going to go first. It says discard up to 3 cards in my hand. I'm only going to choose to do these 2. And then it says draw that many cards, and then shuffle the discard pile back into my hand. So draw first, march, stamina. And I'm going to shuffle these 2 back into my deck real quick. My plan, actually, this is a pretty easy city to take over. Move 2 to get into the city. I lose, I'm at X reputation, doesn't matter. Okay, let's take care of this. I cannot kill them in siege combat, so I'm going to melee range. I'm going to block with determination with the 5 block. These savage monks don't hit me. What I am going to do is take the damage from the sorcerers. And now you're eyeballing me and saying like, hey, you got Banner of Fear? Do you want to use that? I actually don't want to use that. I have plans for that. I have plans for them. So 2 in my hand, 2 in my discard pile. It's been a while since I took damage. So I did the block, melee range. Here we go. We do the damage. So I've got a green mana. Will focus on swiftness. Will get me the 6 physical damage to kill the sorcerers. Chivalry, using a white mana crystal, will give me 6 attack, killing the sorcerers and the savage monks together. Not bad, in my opinion. I'm really glad I took care of the catapults in the last turn, just because it made this combat round so much easier. I don't know if I would have gotten. Yeah, that was I think that was a really smart move for me. Even though it cost a lot of wounds, it kind of guaranteed that I was able to take care of it this round. Even though I took some damage, it's the cost of getting to where I need to get. That's a total of 9 fame, so I'm from 9 fame. So that's 40 to 49. I get my next armor class. Right now I'm at 4 armor, which is pretty nice. I didn't really say it, but I could not use Taunt again. Taunt has proven to me this game to be completely useless, which is really sad because on paper this skill sounds amazing, but I haven't gotten any use of it at this point. Anyway, I'm the effective leader of the city, so that means I get a hand limit of 8 instead of 6. My hand will be full of wounds. I guess that's okay. I got Training, Mana Storm, Temporal Portal, and Stamina to work with. 4 cards in total, and let's get to turn 2. So for this turn, I'm going to take it a little slow. I'm eyeballing the Tomb here, which will get me an artifact and a spell together. Another choice would be standing on the white mines to get some crystals. If I want to play that slow, that might be a good choice as well. The ruins, it's tempting, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm not going towards that at this point. So what I'm going to do is just take stamina 4, move on to the magical glaive, and in this way, that's my entire turn. I'm going to. Unfortunately, I can't use training to get any cards from the action pool. I need either a green or a red action card to be able to get something from this. Now I could toss Mana Storm into the discard pile because I feel like I don't need it right now. And I think I will do that. Standing on the magical glaive lets me heal 1 wound from my hand. And also, since it's daytime, I will get a gold token at the beginning of my next turn. So with that, I'm hoping that I can get something good for my deck. So let's draw up. I'm next to the city, so that's 8. Hand limit. Oh, okay. That seems good. 4 cards. she's got a pretty steady deck, or pretty steady draw rate, so I'm happy about that. So I plan to use Temporal Portal to get to the 2 spaces onto the tomb. It's just a matter of if I want to stay at the Magical Glaive any longer, and I actually will do that because I want to keep another gold token on me, and also grab Blood Rage. So in this instance, I'm going to throw away Rage using training, and that means I can take Blood Rage into my hand, which is a fantastic card to have for attacking, which I will be doing at the tomb in a minute. Okay, so that's spent. End of my turn. I heal a wound from my hand. I get another gold token at the beginning of my next turn. And I'm going to draw up to 8 since I'm still next to that city. Horn of Wrath and Crystal Joy. Okay. White. Oof. That means she drew a total of 6 cards this turn. How many does she have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wolfhawk is at 6 more cards in her deck. So, okay. I can't afford to stay here any longer. I gotta move. Unfortunately, I don't have the movement cards to get directly onto the tomb, but I will have to take an entire action just to do it using Temporal Portal. I'm gonna power that up, move onto the space directly. That means my hand limit size is now +1, so it'll be 7. I'm also going to use Crystal Joy to get a red mana, just because I think I need to re-roll the source right now. And unfortunately, I already discarded my Mana Storm card, so this is going to be the way I'm going to have to go through the source. I'm getting rid of Crystal Joy, that's fine. I would like to get more crystals, but I think I need to hold on to these 2 hands. I want to hold on to Intimidate and Blood Rage as well, so... Another red. Okay, I guess that's okay. I have 7 as my limit. That's 6 and 7. 4 cards only. Okay, she's got 2 left in her deck. That means this is my 3rd to last round. So I have three turns left to do what I need to do. 3 turns. I'm not going to do it, but I could use Swiftness to explore on that tile up there for the next core tile. But I want to make sure I have enough cards to deal with the dragon I'm going to face. It might cost an extra turn to hold off on exploring the tile, but I want to be safe. I want to make sure I can do this tomb. So tombs are night. That means I can't use my units. Oh, that's a pretty bad. Unfortunately, I was planning to use Banner of Fear to negate the tomb's dragon attack, but I do have motivation as a backup. So if things get pretty nasty, I'm gonna have to use that. With that, let's go into the tomb. Okay, Brutal Fire. That means at most I'm going to take 3 wounds. That was kind of half the reason why I wanted to keep my Swiftness, was because if the dragon was not... Man, that's actually a really bad draw. If the dragon wasn't fortified, I could have probably killed it in ranged combat in normal circumstances. But right now, what I have, it's not going to work. Can't kill it in ranged combat. I'm taking my 3 damage in melee combat. Now, all I have to do is generate enough attack. So, I'm going to play Intimidate to get 7 attack, Sideways Blood Rage for 8 attack, and that means it is dead. Not too bad. Really not too bad. I think I am taking a lot more wounds than I am comfortable with, but my early game was so good. Like I at this point I have not even, I think up to day 2 I did not take any wounds at the end of the turn because I was healing it. I was standing at glaives. So now at this point I'm taking all the wounds and I'm gonna have to deal with that later. Yeah, I have 5 in my hand at this point, and I definitely have more in my deck. But again, we'll deal with that when we get to that point. First off, let's do our goodies. We get a spell and we get an artifact. For some reason I'm getting a lot of red mana, and I think that's because of Crystal Joy. In that case, I have Horn of Wrath. I have Firestorm. I could potentially use Step Firestorm on Night 3. I think Burning Shield might be might be the safer choice. And Cure, I don't think that's worth it, no. I'm thinking that I haven't taken any additional cards in my deck that give me more block. So the chances of being able to block something with just this one spell is pretty low. So I'm going to actually take Fireball. I think that's going to be more beneficial for me. That's going to the top of my deck. And now I can choose an artifact as well. I have Book of Wisdom and Banner of Fortitude. If I had stronger units, Banner of Fortitude wouldn't be still mediocre in my situation. It'll be better than Banner of Fortitude, so Book of Wisdom is my choice for artifact. Also, as a side note, even if I had used Taunt on the Fire Dragon, nothing would have changed. So again, Taunt proving to be a useless skill in this entire game, and I feel like this might be the second or third time I've taken Taunt in my previous games. It has not proven to be that useful from what I remember. So I'm feeling pretty bad about picking this skill, but oh well. I will try and not make that mistake next time. Last round, I'm going to spend some movement from Improvisation, and we'll see if we can do something in the next quartile. So here we go. I'm going to explore right here. And let's see. Starting with Night 3, this is the last round. I have Refreshing Walk still available, and Crystal Mastery seems pretty good. For spells, I have Chill, Expose, Cure. I'm not going to go over the units, don't expect to use them. I can't interact, so I can't get these either. I actually forgot to throw away Banner of Command in the earlier stage, so I'm doing it now. You will not see it in my deck. I've started with an excellent hand for attacking, but I'm nowhere near anything important to kill. Unfortunately, you know. Of the two nighttime tactics I'm taking, I'm going to take Midnight Meditation. The only way I could actually use Preparation would be taking a blue or green card, just so I can make use of Book of Wisdom. But I don't think it's worth it to do that. So I'm going to take Midnight Meditation, go first, and the meditation portion of this will give me some insurance later when I get too many wounds in my hand, which will happen. I saw as I was shuffling, I saw how many wounds I have, and it's quite a bit, so I will keep this on the side, make sure to actually use it when I need to. I didn't want to do this. I kind of just wanted to go straight to the monasteries and burn them down, but I'm looking at my offer, I'm looking at the source, I'm looking at my backpack. I don't have a way to get white mana, and I will need the white mana to get rid of this mana scourge I got here. So I'm going to stay at the ruins and kill it just for the sole purpose of getting the white mana, because I will need that. So let's kill 2 orcs. Let's get it over with. That's not too bad. Oh, they're cute, you know. They think they're menacing. Okay, how do we deal with this though? This is actually a pretty tough choice for me. I hate to admit it, but I'm not going to kill it in range combat, so I'm going to block 2 of the attacks using 2 cards sideways. So I'm just going to take 1 wound in my hand, and I'm going to use Strong Intimidate to get 7 attack and kill these dudes straight up. I'm actually going to use Taunt here, so that means I get it. Wait, that doesn't matter. Taunt has not mattered this entire game. Oh my god. Let's get my reward. Shiny crystals. And the one I really needed, apparently, was this one. Right in my backpack. I get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 64. Hey, I get a new skill. Nice. First off, I have Potion Making, Motivation, and from Wolfhawk I have Dueling. I don't think I'm gonna take dueling. I'm getting a feeling I don't like Wolfhawk's skills. Even though I took 2 of them, the only other useful skill I took was motivation. This is a weird one because this healing would have been nice earlier in the game, but I think I'm gonna take motivation. That means I can use motivation basically twice in this round. I can't use it in the same turn, but it's going to be more useful. It's basically a heal in a way. It's getting 2 cards in your hand is basically healing 2 cards in your hand, but almost better. I'm not explaining it well, but yeah, I'm taking motivation. That means I can take a choice of Refreshing Walk, Heroic Tale, or Crystal Mastery. And I think I'm taking Refreshing Walk, since I am expecting to draw some wounds eventually. I will draw some wounds eventually. And now Wolfhawk takes her first turn. 5 cards from her deck. I need to keep a close eye on this because it is the last round. 16 cards in Wolfhawk's deck. I drew Temporal Portal. That's actually great because that means I can set myself up right next to the city. But also keep in mind I have flight, so movement's not going to be an issue for me anymore. I do want to heal this 1 wound I have, so let's use Refreshing Walk for the 2 movement and fly using that 2 movement. Oh, that means I get to heal 1, so I'm just going to get rid of that right now. And I'm standing on the monastery, which I can't interact with. Let us burn the monastery down. Let's do it. Fire golems. Ouch. Okay. Well, they don't hurt, but physical resistance. Okay, guys, this is your time to shine, Taunt. This is your time to shine. The fire golems are 2 fire brutal. That means all I need to do is take 1 wound in my hand in melee combat, and now I can just punch it in the face with Blood Rage. I'm going to use the bottom portion for 9 physical attack. So that means I get another wound in my hand, but sure, whatever. Thanks, Taunt. The one time I could use it. Oh, let me flip you over. There you go. Very, very useful, right? Right. Okay, enough of that. Fire golems are dead. Let's get my rewards. And I have Amulet of Sun versus Ruby Ring. Red Ruby Ring gives me the black mana I need to cast Fireball, which is currently in my hand, but realistically, can I hold on to Fireball until I get to the city? And I'm hoping that answer is yes, so what I'm going to do is take Ruby Ring. Amulet of Sun sounds good if I need the... I have all the crystals I need in my backpack. My backpack is fine. So I'm going to take Ruby Ring, and it seems kind of painful, but I actually think Amulet of Sun is pretty good normally, just not in my situation right now. So I'm going to get my puny 5 experience. I'm at 69 now. Okay, let's see what I'm going to draw from my hand. Oh yeah, anyway, I got the Ruby Ring in my hand. Do I want to use motivation now? Let's hold off. Let's hold off on that. Let's take Wolfhawk's turn first. 5, 6. She's going pretty fast this turn. 8, 9, 10 cards left in her deck. I can't waste too much time. Well, let's do what I originally thought of doing. I'm going to play Temporal Portal with a blue mana from the source. And that means that is my action for the turn. That means I move 2 spaces onto the next monastery, and my hand limit will be +1, so it'll be 7 instead of 6. Now, more importantly, let's see what's at the blue castle now. Got summoners, or sorry, that's illusionists, savage monks, ice, freezers, and we have the ultimate mages. I think the ultimate mages are probably the most annoying, or the most threatening. The freezers are just a nuisance, a fat nuisance, that's kind of it. The summoners just adds an unknown factor to the attack, but still not incredibly threatening. that is my action for the turn. So even if I wanted to do recovery, I could not. Actually would like some clarification. If anyone knows out there, so I'm playing this as an action, and as far as I know, you can't do recovery if you move or do combat or initiate or interact. And in this case, I'm thinking that this is some type of action. So I'm going to say that I can't discard a card from my hand to recover cards. Or I can't discard something and discard wounds from my hand. So I'm going to play that way, but I would love to be proven wrong. If there's something in the rulebook, let me know. If I'm looking at these correctly, I can use these two things outside of my turn. Basically the dummy player's turn. Draw to my hand limit, which is 7 at this point, because I used Temporal Portal. Okay. Now, let's take Wolfhawk's turn. 5, 6. That's pretty unfortunate. 4 cards left in Wolfhawk's deck. Okay, it's still her turn. At the end of Wolfhawk's turn, I'm going to use Midnight Meditation. I'm going to shuffle up to 5 cards from my hand into my deed deck. Let's do that. And then draw that many cards. So I'm going to turn Midnight Meditation over. I've used it. And before Wolfhawk's turn ends, I'm going to use Motivation here and get 2 more cards. And the 1 fame from 69 to 70. And now it is beginning of my turn at this point. Let's see what we can do with this. And honestly, I should go in and attack. Let's see. Let's walk this through. I'm going into the city, so I need to walk in. Let's generate that before I forget. Steady tempo, regular side, whatever. I can put it at the bottom of my deed deck as long as it's not empty. Sure. Okay. I moved into the city. Now, at ranged combat, I've got the ruby ring, which I'm going to toss away right now to get infinite red crystals and infinite red black mana. And I'm going to cast Firestorm right on the freaking ult of mages. So, it is only physical resistant, but it's fire sieged attack. So this is like the perfect spell versus this dude. In range combat, this guy is dead. That is 1 weight off my shoulder. Now, in order to kill anything else, I can't do it. I need more siege damage. The only other one I would have is scouts, but that's not enough to kill anything, unless I have... Taunt would only work if the summoners, illusionists, actually didn't have physical resistance. So I need 2 siege, but that's not enough. That's okay. Before I go into combat, I'm going to back up and use training on the strong side, using a green mana from the source, and I'm going to toss away swiftness. Now, it's 3 attack, which is not super useful to me at this point. What I want to do is grab Dodge and Weave. Now, with this card, I may be able to... I'm actually going to use a green... I'm going to use a green crystal for my backpack instead. Okay, so I have Dodge and Weave in my hand. Now with that, I can lower some of these attacks and live through this, hopefully. At this point, it's in melee range. I need to see what attack the illusionists have for me. And it's the Hydras. Okay, I think that's doable. Anything with elemental attacks has increased damage, so these freezers actually have 5 ice damage. Paralyzing swiftness, that is brutal actually. But I'm going to power Mana Storm, and this will let me reroll all 3 dice in the dice pool. And right now, all I need is white, black, or gold on any of these. So I'm taking a big chance here, and I could have used this white mana to just power Dodge and Weave, but I don't know. I'm feeling lucky. Okay. I got 2 green and 1 gold, so that is actually okay for me. I'm powering Dodge and Weave, so I can reduce 1 attack this guy's attack from 5 to 1 ice. I think that means I need 4 physical block, or 4 physical block, no worries. I'm going to turn these 2 cards sideways to get 2 influence. That will give me enough, that will give me 5 block from heroes. That means I will not be paralyzed this turn. However, I do need to take all this damage here. And I think I'm out of cards at this point. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else I could do. I'm gonna have the scouts take 1 Hydra hit. I'm gonna leave the herbalist unhit. He can heal me after the battle. Heroes also will take another hit from the Hydra. Or let's take it from the poisoners. So the poisoners just poison the unit twice. That means all I need to do is take 2 wounds from the Hydra. Okay, and that ends combat. I don't have any additional attacks I can use. At the end of my turn, I'm going to spend 1 green mana crystal to activate Herbalist and heal 2 from my hand. I get kicked out of the Blue City, back onto the monastery, and let's get 8 fame. This was a pretty good turn, actually. I thought this was going to go worse, but I only have 1 wound in my hand. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Now, it's a matter of if I can finish these guys off in the next turn. I do have, I believe, 3 more turns, so to 78. Ah, so close to leveling up. Oh, that's tough, actually. I really would have liked to level up. Also, I drew Swift Bolt from the action offer, excuse me. Let's draw up to my hand limit, which at this point is only 6. 4, 5, 6. Horn of Wrath. Oh, I'm so happy to see Horn of Wrath. Okay. Wolfhawk. How do we do? How do we go? Okay. Wolfhawk's deck is completely empty, which means this is my second to last turn. I'll need to take over the city in the next 2 turns. Huh. This is weird. Here's my thoughts. Horn of Wrath takes care of the freezers, no problem. I don't have to worry about being paralyzed because I can just kill him in siege combat. Though the issue is that if the illusionists draw something in melee range with paralyze, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to block it. I'm going to use motivation. I don't think there's another time. I don't think I can wait 1 more turn to do this. So let's get my green mana token. It's probably useless. And draw 2 cards. Rage. Wound. Okay. With these 2 cards, I feel a little bit better. Okay, first of all, before anyone yells at me, 2 movement to get into the city. I'm assaulting the city. Okay, that's my movement turn. That's me getting back into the city. Okay, here we go. Here's the fun part. Horn of Wrath, I'm going to throw away for the powerful version on the very bottom of the card. So all I need to do is get +2. So add +2. That means I need to roll 2 dice. Ah, okay. 1 wound in my hand. But great news, freezers are dead. I don't need to worry about that. Fantastic. I will put that on the fame board to level up myself later. Now, it's a matter of seeing what the illusionists have, because I don't have any more range attack. So here we go. Was it chimeras or manticore? I'm not exactly 100% sure. But you know what? I think that's doable. That is doable. Okay, guys. Guess what I get to use? Oh yeah. It's Taunt. Best skill in the game. -1 attack on the Savage Monks. So that's only 4 physical poison. So really what I could do is take all this damage, and I will do that. Okay, so manticores, 1 in my hand, 1 in my discard pile. There you go. Savage Monks, 1 in my hand, 1 in my discard pile. And now I'm gonna go nuts. Maximal effect. I'm gonna play the strong version of that, which means I get the bottom portion of Chivalry twice for free. So that's 12 attack. That is perfect amount to kill 3 physical resistance and 5 armor. So with that, these guys are dead, and the blue city is destroyed or cleared of enemies. I have taken a decent amount of wounds, but I am still standing, which is all that matters to me. So let's clean up and take my last turn. I have defeated the last city. That is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. So for all of that, I'm getting, I believe I'm getting 15 fame, 93 fame. I level up, and you know, that's fine. I got my 4 fame in the city. Doesn't matter, I'm at reputation X. So I refresh my skill and clean up. I'm at a hand limit of actually 9 now, since I have that, and I'm inside a conquered city that I'm the leader of. So draw 2 more cards. And Wolfhawk, actually, it's the end of the game, but I still take 1 more turn. So if there's something I could do now, I shall do it now. I guess this is only for points and status. I would love to burn the last monastery down, but I actually don't have the cards for it. Yeah, I don't have any confidence that I could do it. So really the only thing I could do, Crystal Joy, get a green mana crystal, and that would add to my points if I scored points. I think that's the best move I could have done for my last turn. I can't kill that dragon with what I have. And that's it. I have conquered 2 cities, level 5 and level 8. That is apparently the baby version difficulty level. But you know what? I want to win once in a while. It's nice. It still feels good. It's not that the easier difficulty like negates how I played. I feel like I played pretty well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And Goldyx, you know, despite not picking any of his mana generation skills, which I missed out for some reason. Anyway, let's wrap up. Man, so I ended the game with 93 fame. I'm at X reputation, but not that matters. I'd say for the positives, some of the key things that happened during my game was, let's say I picked up Banner of Command pretty early. I didn't really need it early on, but it did let me get 2 units that I normally wouldn't have gotten. I used the top portion to get, I think it was the Herbalist or something, and the bottom portion I ended up getting the heroes. The heroes at the end, which did save my bacon for 2 instances. So that was pretty good. One of the things for heroes is that people, I think when I first saw this card, I saw this top portion and thought like, so I have to pay 2 influence every time I use him, but you actually don't need to pay if you use anything that's like an adventure site or rampaging monsters or anything like that. Only for assaults. So really that's only like cities and keeps and mage towers, and really the only one you will consider using him for is city assaults. So I think getting the 2 influence is not too bad. So I think I overlooked using the heroes on several of my early games, but now I'm seeing the power of having a reliable attack block 5. That's a pretty good one. Another key card that I actually didn't even talk about that much, I got training like the very first level up. I got training, and man, if you get this early or even learning, or any of these ramp up cards, if you get it early, I feel like you could be set for a pretty strong late game. If you get the advance offers in your favor, man, that builds up pretty quickly. That allowed me to get a lot more of these cards than I normally would have never have taken. Temporal Portal played off at least twice. I think it might have played twice or 3 times, but either way, this was pretty good because I did not have a lot of good movement. I mean, granted, I had Goldyx's skill for flight, but that alone doesn't allow me to get where I needed. So I think these 2 cards, these 2 movement boosters really paid off quite well. And I took steady tempo. I think that might have been a misplay. What else? I ended up getting Intimidate and Blood Rage, the two great attack cards in the advanced actions. I feel like I didn't use it as much as I could have, but man, I can't pass these two up every time I see it. Man, it's weird. I got maximal effect very early in the game, and I believe I used it to throw away 2 instances of... I used it for the very end. I got to throw away, I believe it was Chivalry, which gave me a decent amount of attack. But I think this is one of those advanced cards where you benefit more from having more knowledge of the game. Throwing away a card is sounds like a pretty tough trade-off, but really if you have a good knowledge of how you're pacing your game, then you know when you can afford to throw away an entire card just to get that effect. So pretty good, pretty good. One of the big combos that I could see. There was a tomb up here. Wait, this is the wrong tomb. Either way, there was a tomb that I could not get to, but the only way I did reach it was I believe I used Temporal Portal along with Flight. And doing that allowed me to get the only one spell I could have gotten this entire game. And it was actually a key one at the last siege. I was able to kill the Ultim Mages in sieged combat, which these guys are usually like poison, brutal, 4 ice, fire attack. I can barely say it, and I don't think I've blocked it successfully in my previous games. It's always been some type of mitigation of like Banner of Fear or something like that to get out of the Ultim Mage's clutches, but that paid off. That was a key card to take, and I didn't even realize it until I took over that tomb. Ruby Ring allowed me to play that spell pretty easily. I did have to hold on to this card for 3 or 4 turns. It was weird. I just kept holding it and holding it and holding it, and I was afraid that I could never use it in the city, but it paid off, and paid off pretty well. Okay, let's go over the negatives. Hey, Taunt. I feel like I'm never gonna pick you again. I mean, on paper it just sounds so nice. Every turn you can get rid of 1 damage from somebody, but honestly that only played into effect twice, and I took this as one of the first skills I saw. So like the instances of you having just enough armor to mitigate 1 more wound from your hand, I don't think it was worth taking. But that's fine. I think I learned my lesson. Flight is a pretty easy choice. It's a boring choice, but I think everyone should strongly consider always taking it, unless you are rich in movement. The last thing is, in my previous games, I never really used motivation that much. But if I used it correctly, and you can only, as far as I know, you can only use it once per round, you can only use it once per turn. So being able to basically get paralyzed and kind of recover from that was probably the intention of what most people take motivate for. But it also has pretty good uses, as you can see from the very end of the game. I was able to get a little bit more insurance for how I was going to attack and block and, take wounds in my hand. So that was pretty good. In the weirdest case is that usually my games go the other way in terms of wounds. I usually take like crazy amount of wounds in the first half of the game, like day 1, night 1, day 2, night 2. But in this game, like I was really working well with blocks and range attacks, and I don't know how I did it. Magical glaive healing. I was doing well in the first half, but it kind of exploded at the end with the poison damages, and I think there was some, the Hydras kind of added to that as well. My units really took a beating for that. Yeah, and I took learning, but that was late. It doesn't matter. Training paid off quite well. If you can see here, these 5 cards, I believe, were the ones I threw away to get Blood Rage, I believe Intimidate, I believe Mana Storm, Dodge and Weave, and Chivalry. or something, or learning. Either way, man. I got training early and I got lucky. That was great. I actually didn't even pull Banner of Fear. What? I'm so sad. Like, Banner of Fear is like one of those cards. It's like Horn of Wrath. You take Horn of Wrath, you use it, and you win the game. Banner of Fear, I put it on a unit. I never even got to use it. I put it back in my deck in night 3, hoping to pull it in my hand, and it never came up. So Banner of Fear, yeah, good insurance. It just never played off in this game for me. Well, whatever. That's fine. Either way, yeah. Thanks for watching again. If you have any comments or suggestions for what I should do next time, please let me know. I have a few other videos on my channel. I am still kind of just getting into the flow of things again, but I hope you enjoy this, and because I enjoy making these, and I obviously enjoy playing Mage Knight, I do have some other solo board games I might do in the future, but for now I'm gonna stick with this. Let me know how you feel. Please like my video and subscribe. That helps and gives me a little bit of positive feedback. And yeah, have a good night.